It is an iconic, recognizable pipe, and you know the minute you see it who I am. I'm one of the few people that you can identify by this pipe, aren't I? You think you know who I am, but you are wrong. Because if Holmes were here, he would tell you that while you have seen, you have failed to observe. Because if you had observed my fine period costuming, you would have noticed that I am not Sherlock Holmes, but I am in fact his friend and biographer, Dr. John Watson. And I've been asked here today to spend some time talking to you about pipes. Not this pipe, really, but the pipes that Holmes himself owned and enjoyed. And I've been asked to do this in celebration of Mr. Benjamin Mitchell's excellent YouTube channel and his success at attracting a significant number of followers who are wise men. Because I've seen Mr. Mitchell's presentations and they are top quality, and he is a warm and welcoming person that I greatly enjoy sharing a pipe with. Not one of these monstrosities, of course. So, why is it that you immediately think of Holmes when you see this pipe? Holmes never smoked one of these. He wouldn't have time for something like this. Well, the truth is that my collaborator, Mr. Arthur Conan Doyle, and myself were approached by an actor named William Gillette. And Gillette had written a play, a theatrical version of one of my stories. Actually, it was an amalgam of many of my stories, but suffice to say, it was a reasonable Holmes story, and we felt that it would be good to have Holmes presented on the stage, and Gillette was a fine actor. So Gillette went off and produced this play, and it had quite a bit of success. Now, being a stage actor, he knew that his props had to be larger than life in order for the audience, which was quite some distance from him, to be able to see and appreciate. So when it came time for Gillette to choose a pipe, did he choose one that accurately portrayed the sort of things that Holmes might have smoked? Or did he choose a monster? Thus the Calabash association with Holmes. Now, there have been other theatrical representations of Holmes that have moved away from that and been a bit closer to what he actually smoked. Basil Rathbone made a number of fine films, and in those films he typically smoked either a Peterson or a Dunhill, and the Dunhill was a Dunhill Parker, which it was a bit more reasonable, although it still had a big bend in it, which Holmes wouldn't have liked. Peterson 4AB, again a large bent pipe. Yeah, at least it was a briar pipe, and Holmes was known to smoke a briar pipe. In more recent times, the actor Jeremy Brett portrayed Holmes quite well. I mean, as a man who knew him, I can tell you that was one of the most accurate depictions, and one of the depictions that are most true to my own biographies of Holmes that I have seen. And in that, he smoked a church warden. Now again, I think Mr. Brett was taking a page from Gillette's book by using the church warden very effectively as a prop, so he could indicate and point and everything else. And it was large enough that it was noticeable, but yet it was more reasonably shaped. Brett smoked what I believe was a Peterson church warden. And yeah, this is closer, but the truth is Holmes wouldn't have had time for this either. He would have broken this, and he was far too fidgety a man to deal with one of these. So what did he smoke? Well, often he would smoke a briar. It wasn't his favorite pipe. It wasn't the pipe he smoked when he was in a good mood. But a briar pipe, something like this. We didn't know of Dunhill. There was a carriage maker or a saddle maker or something named Dunhill, but there were certainly no pipe makers. But there were a number of pipe shops, and we didn't really know exactly the provenance of all the pipes. We just had pipes. They weren't quite as a luxury item back then as they are today. They were sort of a part of life. So if you don't mind, I'm going to partake in this. This is my own Briar, not one of Holmes. And please feel free to join me. Ah, very nice. So what sort of pipes did Holmes smoke? Well, again, Briar, yeah, bit too much smoke there. A Briar, something like this, simple, typically straight. He didn't like large bent bowls. Holmes was a nicotine addict. He was smoking to get nicotine. So this was a delivery device for him, and the simpler the better. He also occasionally, and often when in a particularly foul mood, would smoke a cherry wood. Now people have asked, does that mean it's a pipe made out of cherry? I have no idea. We didn't really pay attention to such things. I assume many of our pipes were Briar, but there were probably a few other hardwoods mixed in, and this pipe was what we would call a cherry wood. It's a shape. Most notably, it has this sort of odd slanted bottom. Maybe it was made of cherry. We didn't care. And the other pipe that Holmes smoked, and actually the pipe that he smoked most often, was what I have described as a black and oily clay. This is a new clay pipe. This is an English tavern pipe of the sort that Holmes favored. Now, the way these pipes were used, and they were quite common in the time that we lived, is that these were basically a disposable item. You would buy one, they were relatively inexpensive, you would smoke it, and over time the end would fracture because you forgot to not bite down. You might try to clench this, or you might drop it and snap a piece off. Well, then you just fiddled away the sharp bits and put it back in your mouth and smoked it. And you continued to do that until it got too short to smoke, and then you threw it away. Got another one. Well, Holmes smoked so much that his clays tended to be little nubs before he threw them away, and they were covered in the black oily tar from the tobacco that he smoked. This was what he smoked when he was in a good mood. He loved his clay pipes. And that's it. He was a simple man when it came to pipes and pipe tobacco. He smoked black shag, which was, well, let's just say you're fortunate that you can no longer find it. It was low-quality tobacco, not unsmokable, but many would say it was close to unsmokable. Nothing to compare with your Lane 1 Q, of course, but still not something you'd probably want to have pounds of in your cellar. I myself favored ship's tobacco, Navy tobaccos, preserved with rum. Good, strong, stout stuff. Nobody ever cares. Nobody ever asked what I smoked. Thought I'd tell you anyway. I just made a faux pas. I just created an anachronism, didn't I? We didn't have Zippos in the late 19th century. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm always happy to talk about Holmes. He was a fascinating man. And if you'd ever like me to come back and talk about myself, I'd be happy to do that as well, because nobody ever asked what sort of pipe Watson smoked. Well, I'm just feeling sorry for myself. Again, I'd like to mention Mr. Benjamin Mitchell, a fine YouTube pipe presenter, and a man that deserves your attention. Go to his channel, watch his videos, and if you're not subscribed to him, subscribe to him. you'll appreciate it. With that, I must go. Lestrade is coming over later today, and we're going to visit some old friends. You enjoy your day.